this video, we're going to review the 1 to 50,000 topographic map series, and this is basically the series of maps that cover, the series of topographic maps that cover the entire region of South Africa. And each map has been given a code so that it is easy to actually find that map and locate it within this grid system that covers the whole of South Africa. So how this actually works is that the whole of South Africa is divided into a grid, a degree by degree grid using latitude and longitude lines. So these latitude lines would be each representing a degree. And if we have a look at our grid system, we can see that in the top left corner, there's two numbers, well, four numbers, but they actually make up two numbers when read out. And so specifically with this one over here, we can look at the fact that the two numbers that make up that code are 2816. So the 28 represents the latitude degree reference. So we know that this is the line that is 28 degrees south from the equator. The next one down would be 29 degrees, and the next one down would be 30 degrees south. And we know that that means that our latitudes are increasing towards the South Pole from the 0 degree equator. And so South Africa actually is positioned from starting at its lowest latitude being 22 degrees south, and then its highest latitude is sitting at about, if you include the last bits of the Cape, 35 degrees. It doesn't actually quite reach 35, so it's just before the 35 degrees south. Then we know that part of that grid we need the longitude actual division lines, and these are then the longitude degree lines that will finish off creating the grid square. And so we can again look at that code within the number in the top left corner, and we can see that within this example, if that was 28, the second number is 16, and that refers to the longitude reference. So that is then the 16 degree longitude east. And this is then 17, and that would then make this next one the 18 degree longitude, okay, and 19 degree longitude, and so forth. And so we can see that they increase towards the east from the Greenwich Meridian being 0 all the way through to 180 degrees in the east. Okay, we're now going to look at a specific example. So if I have a look at this degree by degree block over in Mpumalanga, the latitude reference is 25 degrees south, and we'll just write 25. And then the longitude, that is the top left corner of the degree by degree block, is 29. So that then means that the coding reference of the latitude and longitude for this particular area, all of the maps found in that degree by degree space will start off with 2529 as their map reference code. Okay. We then take the degree by degree block, and we can actually zoom in, and you can see that it's been divided into smaller blocks. There's actually 16 of them inside one degree by degree block. Okay. We're going to look at this example in an enlarged version. So this is the latitude line of that block, degree by degree block, representing 25 degrees south, and this is then 26 degrees south, okay, increasing as you move further to the south. And then the longitude is the 29 degree longitude, which is sitting in the east, and then this would be the 30 degree east because we're increasing towards the east, towards the right. So that entire region in Mpumalanga is going to start off with the 2529 reference. But what we can do is we know that from 1 degree to another, so from 25 to 26, that 1 degree can actually be split up into 60 minutes. So if I divide it in half, I know that that halfway mark represents 30 minutes, and that half of that is 15 minutes, and if we add another 15 this side, we've got 45 minutes. So we now have minute divisions that can assist us in actually creating further locations or codes for maps that are divided into this degree by degree space. So again, you can do the divisions for the longitude, so the 30-minute mark, the 15-minute mark, and the 45-minute mark. So I've just really divided my map or my degree by degree block up into 16 individual little spaces. And the way we work it is that we will first code the larger block reference, so the 30 by 30 reference, and we can say that this is the big block A, big block B, big block C, and big block D. Okay, then you can take the smaller block references, each one of them, and divide that big block A up into 4 along the 15-minute lines, and that would then be a smaller block A, block B, block C, and block D. And again, you do that for each of the larger blocks, A, B, C, and D. And we're going to finish it off just for the example. And so along those 15-minute divisions, we can actually then divide our degree by degree block into 4 sheets, map sheets going down, and 4 map sheets going across. Each one of these then represents an area in South Africa that has a particular map code. Okay, and that code, if we then unpack what that is, starts off with the latitude reference, which was 25, always top left corner, and then you have your longitude reference, which is 29. Then you look at the big block that little square is found in, and that in this case is D. And then you look at the smaller block within D where the reference is found, and that is C. And so the code, the map sheet code for that particular block is 2529 DC. So whatever may be found there, whether it is built up area, whether it is a rural region, whether it is rivers and mountains, it is all going to then be represented within the code 2529 DC. Now we also know that these lines are obviously what we have created on a map system, but they don't exist in reality. So we can find that certain things like built-up features, and especially when we're printing a map, we are really looking at where are settlements. Some settlements might be found between blocks. So the borders of the actual grid square are not going to define where your built-up area will end. So if a city started to expand, it might start here in this particular block, and then it will expand into the other block, because it's obviously not, those block boundaries don't exist in reality. So then when we code where that particular city will be found, it has to be mapped over the 2 regions. So when we print the map, we will then print for both of those codes, and we'll ignore the sides that don't have relevant information to us and focus rather on where the map is overlapped over the 2 codes. We then would provide both codes. So we would say that the code for that particular city would be found at 2529, big block A, little block D, and, because it overlaps, 2529, big block B, little block C. So we know that those 2 map codes then provide us with the reference of where the map would locate the city, and where we could actually then print off that map of the city. Let's have a look at some examples. These refer to the actual map code alongside. So we want to find the map code for Rustenburg. So if we have a look at our reference here, Rustenburg is found over here, and we're going to look at the actual dot to give us that reference. So we look firstly at which degree by degree block Rustenburg is found in, and that is then within the 25-degree latitude and within the 27-degree longitude. So I can see that by referring to the number in the top left corner. Latitude being first, longitude second. Then I know that I'm going to divide the block up along the minute lines with 15-minute divisions. So I do the 31st for A, B, C, and D. And then where Rustenburg is found, I'll give more detailed reference for the smaller block divisions, which is A, B, C, and D. And so Rustenburg is really found within the line there. And so we're going to say that it is going to be printed with this particular code. And so the answer there for Rustenburg will be 25, 27, okay, big block C and little block A. Now we can also ask you to jump and do a block reference next to another code. So then you are going to be provided with that other code, and say potentially the example here is, what is the code directly west of Soweto? So we give you a location, and then we say you need to jump a particular cardinal reference from that. So if Soweto is over here within this block reference, directly west of it would be this block to the left of it. So we then need to provide the map sheet code for the map that would be printed here. And so we can then read off that it is the latitude 26, longitude degree block 27. It is in the bigger block reference A and B. Okay, so it's in the B. And if we take that B block region and we divide that again, it's A, B, C, and D. So it is in the smaller block C. Right, at this point, you can pause the video and you can try and find the map reference for Carolina, for Vereeniging, and then for Johannesburg. Right, Carolina is found over here. So that is this reference for question 2. Vereeniging is over here. Johannesburg is here, and you've got to be careful with Johannesburg, not represented by a dot. Okay, so now let's check if the codes are correct. So Carolina was 2630 AA. And if we go into the SAGTA website, they have a topographic map generator. And what you can do is put the sheet code in here to check or find the location that you're looking for. So if we put in that code, it's 2630 AA. So 2630 and AA, there's the first one. And if we go to that particular map sheet, you'll see that it's all been divided up. Those yellow lines represent the longitude degree divisions. We then can find that the 2630 AA map will represent the town, just let it open, will represent that town of Carolina. Okay, it's just taking a while to open up. And there you have it. So here you can see the town of Carolina, and it is then going to be able to be printed on that map sheet of 2630 AA. Right, the next example was Vereeniging, which was 2627 dB, and then Johannesburg was an example where there was an overlap. So Johannesburg is printed over the 2628 AA as well as a C map sheet.